Davos meeting and what it really meant. Davos meeting, we had a very recent event, and that is Davos meeting. Many countries have met there and told each other about their point of view after what will happen, since we do still have COVID. The Russia is still in Ukraine, and there are lots of points in the world that can lead to a conflict, and I mean this in a physical military level conflict. So the world is kind of in a turmoil. But what we should be expect to see in the near future and in the distant future. And this video will be mostly about Davos and the events which can happen in the future. So the Davos event, the most of the conversations were about the globalization. And what they say about the globalization, what they did mean about the globalization. They said the globalization is over. We will stop buying things from China, we will stop buying things from Russia, and we will start buying things from our neighbors, like let's say Poland, maybe let's say Turkey. They will start buying things from their allies and their neighbors. Since the market is so important for globalization, if you localize the market, then globalization will have a huge impact. But why you shouldn't understand it's all over, like there won't be any passports, you cannot go to another country, you can't live in another country, you can't go travel, visit, work there for 5 years, 10 years, maybe permanently work there. You shouldn't be understanding this, but because the term globalization has many views, has many points, way more than you can imagine, and it's a very wide, broad subject. And if the globalization over, it doesn't mean you cannot go to another country. You will be able to visit European Union country if you are in the Union, and you will be able to visit American countries, United States, Canada, and the other English-speaking countries with a little, perhaps a very, very little hardship, and they will stay. And you will also be able to work there if you fulfill the requirements. So you shouldn't be thinking, so then I should only focus for my country, and that is the only thing that I can offer to the world. It would be wrong. And if globalization is over, definitely there will be changes. There definitely will be changes. But this kind of changes, you don't have to think it like it's all over, we are entering to a whole new era. Yes, we are entering to a new era, but it isn't all over. The world will not be like you are living in another reality. Humans will still be humans, but it will be different, of course. It will be a little bit different. And the system, if you wish to profit in the future, you may wish to visit the subject, the term, and you may wish to visit business structures which focuses on a local area. And the world governments will most likely enter in a recession. And this was another topic of the Davos. The governments, most of the developed part of the world will enter in a recessive period. And most of the people who joined to Davos, they voted this, and they asked if they were expecting a recession, and 93% of the people who joined to the conference said, yes, I do expect a recession, especially in the EU area. So according to them, we will be seeing recession in the near future. But recession is not a very bad thing, because when we had we still do have pandemic, I know this, but we had the pandemic in a very wide scale at 2020 and 2021. It is a bit more mild right now, and when we had the pandemic there was many cases, we couldn't produce as we have produced in the past. China couldn't produce as they have produced in the past, and they told this they would localize their product because their own people needed the products, so the other part of the world could prepare themselves for a shortage for the products China is producing. So we are seeing a war right now, and it does take effect. The oil prices go up, and the prices of the other, like wheat, other things, other commodities go up. We see this, and we most likely will be seeing this, because I don't think they can put a stop to increasing prices of the wheat. And how we could prevent it? We printed trillions of dollars. Most of the world printed trillions of currency, and they did pump their economy when it was 2020 and 2021, perhaps a little bit at 2019 either. They pumped, and they pumped. So we couldn't produce that much of the product. So if we, let's say, had 2 times of money we had as before, we still had the same, maybe less amount of commodities. So this resulted in a very aggressive inflation, and most of the world are now increasing their interest rates so they can hope to suppress the growing prices everywhere in the world. Growing prices of commodities, growing prices of the housing, growing prices of the used cars, and you can see this in every part of the world. There is an inflation. Some parts of the world do not have hard inflation as the others, as the developing part of the world, but most of the world do have inflation. Maybe Japan is the exception in the inflation, because they are in a deflative state. They cannot cause inflation, and they are trying so hard to cause inflation, but they cannot do this. So we see inflation. So at the Davos, we learned, according to them, the globalization is over, and 2, we will be seeing the localized market, and 3, we will be seeing inflation all over the world, and many central banks around the globe will increase their interest rates, and we will be seeing this also. We'll be seeing increased interest rates. Let's see what happens in the future, because the future is for us. And they also said the 2022 is a tough year. We will have some tough times. We already have some tough times, because many people are losing their jobs, many people are losing their homes, many people are losing their savings, and if they had any savings, many people are going into debt. They are going into debt, and we will be continuing seeing this, unfortunately. Perhaps until 2024 we will be seeing this. Unfortunately, this is a fact, and according to Davos, people who joined the Davos. This is a truth. I don't think all of the things they said are exact truth, but they had some pretty good points, and we should all be prepared for the future, because if we prepare ourselves good in the future, we may not have any kind of damage in the future. I'll get to see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.